Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into a really interesting mix of sources. They look quite separate at first glance. Global news, high finance, even AI art.
That's right. But beneath the surface, they connect. We're seeing these two major tensions playing out. One is this, well, almost existential contest between human intention and what machines can do.
And the other.
The other is about cost. Massive, often hidden financial burdens that are really starting to weigh down major economies.
So our mission today is to connect those dots for you. We'll look at AI generating music about lost love, strangely enough.
Yeah, and contrast that with the UK's huge economic cost from sickness. We'll also touch on the shifting sands of global science leadership, U.S.-China.
Plus, some pretty jaw-dropping details on international cybercrime busts. We want to pull out the key insights you need to really grasp what's driving global stability and instability right now.
We have sources covering everything from that $14 billion Bitcoin seizure, just one case, to, the very real limits being discovered in even the most advanced AI.
And the fragility that rising health costs expose domestically. Okay, let's get into it. Where better to start than with, well, creativity itself.
Exactly, the new creative frontier. And it really makes you question what creator even means anymore.
So one of our sources introduces this piece of music, Pianino number 17. It sounds, well, quite sophisticated. D minor conveys lost love, apparently.
Right, and it's described as having some novelty, dissonant notes, and eerie timing shifts, so it's not just cliche.
But here's the kicker. The composer, an AI. It has zero life experience. No heartbreak, no intention driving it, just algorithms.
And that's why this whole debate about machine creativity is just exploding right now. I mean, the standard definition we've used for decades.
What is that definition again?
Basically producing things that are both original and effective. And the thing is, generative AI models, they can often meet that standard now, technically speaking.
It really throws a wrench into a debate that's, well, centuries old, isn't it? You had Ada Lovelace back in the 1840s.
Right, arguing machines can only follow orders, they can't originate.
But then Alan Turing, mid-20th century, predicted machines could eventually replicate pretty much any human faculty, including creativity.
And that's where we are now. But it's complicated, because while AI, especially these large language models or LLMs, they're great at mimicking styles.
Right?
Or doing very specific creative tasks.
They hit walls.
They seem to, particularly with things like narrative complexity or genuine out-of-the-box innovation. There was one study looking at AI-generated short stories. They were okay, maybe amateur level. But professional human stories, rated much higher. The AI stories often fizzled out, lacked compelling endings, that sort of thing.
But the finding that really jumped out at me was the comparison, not just to professionals, but to kids.
Oh, yeah, the 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
The LLMs couldn't match a group of 5-year-old children when it came to dreaming up new functions for everyday objects.
That imaginative leap, AI isn't there yet.
It seems not, and that same limitation, that sort of lack of real curiosity, it pops up in science too. We looked at this experiment using ChatGPT-4.
What was the task?
Uncovering gene roles in a simulated system. The researchers called the AI stubborn. It made fewer guesses, ran fewer experiments.
And the key thing.
It didn't change its mind. Even when the results flat out contradicted its initial ideas, it just stuck to its guns.
Wow, so it lacked that creative spark, that ability to see an anomaly and think, what's going on here? Which is like the heart of scientific discovery.
Precisely. And this feeds right back into that core debate among academics, process versus product. Is it enough if the product, the song, the story, the hypothesis is original and effective?
Or does the process matter?
Many argue it does. They say you need authenticity, intentionality. And AI doesn't set its own goals. Its creations are, well, one expert called them parasitic on the human data it learned from.
That's a strong word, parasitic. Okay, so if we're questioning the nature of the innovator, the creative entity, it makes sense to also look at who is leading innovation globally.
Absolutely. And the picture there is changing fast, really fast. Our sources show Chinese scientists are now leading over half of all joint research projects with the UK.
Over half? That's significant.
It is. And the projections suggest China could reach parity in this leadership share with Europe by maybe 2025, 27. And with the U.S. just a year or two after that, 2027, 28.
That's a huge shift in a short time.
Right.
But there's a nuance, right?
Yes, exactly. They're gaining lead share, leading more projects overall. But their lead premium, which is kind of the ratio of leaders to followers within projects, that's growing slower. Meaning Chinese scientists are still often in supporting roles, even on projects originating from China. It's not total dominance yet, more like a rapid rise in influence.
And they still face challenges. Chokeholds, the source called them.
Big ones, especially in really core technologies, advanced AI chips, semiconductors, certain energy tech, partly due to things like the 2022 U.S. ban on selling high-end NVIDIA AI chips to China.
But here's the paradox, isn't it? The source mentions simulations.
Right. If the U.S. were to completely cut off collaboration with China in critical area space, AI, quantum computing, the simulations, suggest it would actually be very costly for the U.S.
So trying to silo innovation, it backfires.
It seems innovation just doesn't work that way. Collaboration, even with rivals, often pushes everyone forward faster. Refusing to collaborate has a real price tag.
That idea of immense, perhaps avoidable cost, that leads us straight into our next segment, looking at the huge financial pressures building up within national economies. Let's start with the UK.
Yeah, the UK sickness bill,
Oh,
it's staggering. So if global innovation needs collaboration, national economies, well, they need health and efficiency. And the UK data we looked at shows a really serious vulnerability.
How serious? What's the number?
Illness-related inactivity, people out of work due to health, is estimated to cost the UK economy $212 billion every year.
$212 billion. Can you put that in perspective?
It's massive. It's nearly 70% of all the income tax the UK government collects. That's money lost from output, plus the cost of welfare, plus the strain on the NHS.
And what about businesses directly?
Employers are eating about $85 billion of that annually. Lost productivity, sick pay, all of it.
What's driving this? Is it one particular thing?
The report highlights two main trends. A big surge in mental health problems, especially among younger people. And for older workers, more musculoskeletal issues, back problems, joint problems, that kind of thing.
And it's getting worse.
The forecast isn't good. Without major changes, they predict another 600,000 people could leave the workforce for health reasons just by 2030.
Which means the benefits bill.
Yeah, the bill for working-age health and disability benefits could hit over £72 billion a year by then.
Is there a proposed solution mentioned?
Well, advisors like Sir Charlie are talking about framing health as a shared responsibility. Not just on the government or the individual, but employers, employees, health services, all needing to work together. Basically, the economy's stability hinges on worker health.
Okay, so that's the cost from, let's say, legitimate domestic problems, even if they're hugely damaging. How does that compare to the cost of, well, crime, specifically sophisticated global crime?
It's a stark contrast. We go from these, structural economic issues to the world of high-tech, high-volume scams. We looked at the takedown of this huge cyberscam operation.
The one allegedly run by Chen Zi in Cambodia.
That's the one. Focused on the pig butchering scam.
Oh, yeah.
Where they build trust over months, then fleece the victim.
And the scale. I heard some incredible figures.
Ken allegedly bragged his operation was pulling in $30 million a day. A day. The UN thinks these Southeast Asian scam networks overall might be netting tens of billions every year.
30 million a day. It's almost impossible to imagine. And the authorities managed to seize some of it.
Oh, yes. The U.S. charged Chen wire fraud, money laundering, and they seized $14 billion worth of Bitcoin right off the bat.
14 billion in Bitcoin.
And that was just the start. The international seizures that followed really show where that money was going. It wasn't just sitting in crypto wallets.
Right. Tell us about the luxury assets. I think hearing the specifics really drives home the scale.
Okay, so internationally, Taiwan seized assets worth $150 million. That included 26 luxury cars. We're talking Ferraris, Bugattis, Porsches, plus 11 high-end apartments.
26 supercars, okay.
Hong Kong grabbed $353 million in cash and stocks. Singapore found $114 million, plus a yacht, fancy liquor.
Even the UK got involved.
Yep. They seized a mansion worth over $15 million and an office building valued at $130 million, all linked back.
And Chen Zi himself. His background is interesting too, right?
Very. Originally a Chinese national, he got Cambodian citizenship in this elite title, Nik Unka.
Which means?
It's an honorific, basically given to people who make huge donations to the state.
Yeah.
So you see this alleged illicit fortune effectively buying status, integrating into the elite.
It really highlights that cost of fragility, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Whether it's a national health system under strain in the UK or state honors potentially being influenced by vast sums of criminal money.
Exactly. Different kinds of institutional weakness, but both carrying enormous costs.
We've covered the economic costs, the geopolitical tensions, the AI debate. Let's bring it back to the human element now, the ultimate cost And maybe the value of authenticity, things machines can't really replicate.
Yeah, sometimes the cost is tragically immediate and local. We saw that in one source detailing a fire at a nursing home in Tuzla, Bosnia and Herzegovina.
What happened there?
At least 11 people died. Many were bedridden patients, just completely vulnerable.
Awful. And there was context there too, wasn't there? About the conditions.
Yes, residents had apparently complained for years. Dampness, poor food quality. It's this terrible local echo of the bigger theme. When systems meant to protect the vulnerable fail, whether it's a whole national health system or one local care home, the human cost is immediate and devastating.
It really puts the focus back on human responsibility, human intentionality.
It does. And that connects in an interesting way to another source, Prince Harry, reflecting on Britishness.
What did he focus on?
He said the thing he loves most is the banter. You know, the specific kind of humor in the military mess, the pub, the sports stands, that stoic, self-deprecating wit.
And he linked that
to the spirit he saw in Ukrainians. And crucially, he stressed that remembering war, isn't about glorifying it. It's about understanding the immense life-changing cost.
that shared experience, that humor in adversity, the awareness of cost. That's the authenticity we were talking about earlier, isn't it? The stuff AI can't get from a data set.
Precisely. It brings us full circle. An AI can generate a technically perfect song about lost love.
But only a human understands the feeling, the cost of that love, or the struggle to cope, or the sheer vulnerability when institutions fail you. #tag outro.
So wrapping up this deep dive, you've really seen these stark contrasts playing out across the globe. On one hand, the almost unimaginable financial weight of things like sickness and institutional decay.
Yeah, costs that can actually dwarf even the massive profits being raked in by sophisticated global crime syndicates. And then there's that fundamental tension around creation itself. We have machines making things, art, scientific ideas that meet the definition of original and effective.
But they lack that stubborn curiosity, that lived experience, that intentional struggle, which arguably fuels the most meaningful human art and science.
So hopefully you now have a much richer understanding of these complex currents shaping our world, that deep tension between efficiency, capability, and, well, essential humanity.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to ponder. If AI can now produce technically brilliant things without the struggle, the intention, the lived emotion that we associate with human creativity, does the real lasting value of what we create now lie less in the polished final product and more in the authenticity of the human struggle behind it?